me to give you a thumbs
Push
up?
up.
Yeah, good.
We stop talking, you stop talking.
Okay, good evening. Welcome to the August 11th, 2021 Conservation Meeting. Now, time is now 7 o'clock, and I call the meeting to order. I'd like to remind our members of the audience that this meeting is being broadcast live by NCTV and also being recorded for future broadcast. This time I'd like to call a roll call. Jim Wilson, here.
Al Finney, here.
Alex Whiteside here.
Valstone here.
Thank you. All right, our first meeting is 5 Hanover Street, scheduled for 7 o'clock. The applicant has requested continuance so that I'll entertain a motion to continue the hearing for 5 Hanover Street to September 8th, 2021 at 7 p.m.
Alex Whiteside, so moved.
Have a second?
Valstone second.
Okay. Now a roll call vote. Anybody, any comments, questions? Okay. Roll call. Jim Wilson, aye.
Al Finney, aye.
Whiteside, aye.
Valstone, aye.
Okay. Next one, 701, 69 Union Street, scheduled for 701. Is the applicant here first? Okay. Welcome back. We're here the last time. We said we'd have orders of conditions ready. How are we with that?
Yeah, we did that, because you had asked about having an area marked on the plan for stockpiling. where
Correct.
there's So the next day, we got the plan where they located the stockpile area near the driveway outside of the 100-foot buffer zone. so
Okay.
No jurisdiction, so I did up the order of conditions and sent people the draft order of conditions.
Okay.
And no one commented about anything, so they should be, oh, good. No, I thought you had.
Okay.
So they should be good to be hopefully issued tonight.
So we close the meeting and then sign the orders of condition?
No, we can do it.
Yes,
Good?
yes.
Okay. Anybody else here for 69 Union Street in the audience? Any members have any questions, comments?
I just have one that was brought to our attention as far as the building permit. Was there a building permit pulled for this?
The landscape company is supposed to be doing that.
Okay.
I'm not aware.
Has the work started? Has the,
No.
the work has not started?
No.
Okay.
We got the patio in the front of the house, but not the work that is subject to the water, the wetlands.
Yep, okay. I know it was brought up and some letters are going around and you just might want to get that as soon as possible.
Definitely.
That has nothing to do with us, so.
And just for clarity, I did confirm with the building department last Thursday that there were no current building permits in the portal, nothing received, nothing pending, nothing issued.
Okay.
So just in order, the order conditions we will give you, but make sure you get that permit
Okay.
before you start digging, okay?
And if I might, because it's also, they might read through the order, because you're gonna read through the order conditions I did up. But if they hate things or whatever, they might appeal that up to the state saying, no, we don't wanna paint all the trees pink or whatever. So they might not be ready for a building permit, but, I don't like pink, so I would never put that in the order. Just so you know.
All right. So I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing for 69 Union Street, NOI 240-0641.
Al Finney, so moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Valstone second.
There you go. Okay, roll call vote. Jim Wilson, aye.
Al Finney, aye.
Alex Whiteside, aye.
Valstone, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. The public hearing is closed. Now make a motion to approve NOI 240-061 as presented for 69 Union Street, Norfolk, Mass.
Al Finney, so moved.
Second?
Alex Whiteside, second.
Okay. Roll call vote. Jim Wilson, aye.
Al Finney, aye.
Alex Whiteside, aye.
Valstone, aye.
Okay, the motion has passed. Good luck.
Thank you so
And
much.
we all knew where your project was because the goats were very entertaining.
Yes.
Yes, they've been entertaining us all.
My wife drove by and said, "Is is that the place that's getting the pool? Looks like they have dogs in the front. And I said, no, they're goats.
Yeah, I did quite a few double takes, when we first got there, so.
Amazing animals.
Just tomorrow, town hall opens at 9 o'clock, so someone come by and pick those up if they want. If you can't come pick them up at town hall, we'll send them modified mail. But go through them, make sure you're happy with them, and then they'll be recorded at the registry of deeds
Okay.
in Dedham, okay?
Okay,
And
excellent,
the
yeah.
building department will require that proof of recording
Okay.
as part of your application.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
So will someone else in?
Yes. If it's not me, it'll be somewhere attractive. Usually my wife. And smarter.
Thank you,
Thanks so
sir.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Good luck. Okay. Our next item on the agenda is our wetland protection regulation revisions. I'd entertain a motion to open the public hearing for the town of Norfolk's Conservation and Wetlands Protection Regulations Revision.
Bellstone, so moved.
Is there a second?
Al Finney, second.
Okay, take a roll call. Jim Wilson, aye.
Al Finney, aye.
Alex Whiteside, aye.
Bellstone, aye.
Okay, Janet, could you maybe provide us a little bit about what our corrections are?
And I think you have a cheat sheet hopefully from
Yep.
Stephanie with the yellow highlights. A lot of it, and I kinda feel bad because anytime going through these, I would notice an error and I would mark mine up, to fix it. But we've never got around to changing them, so this is just trying to, Stephanie's been great too, helping with all this and, but just making all those little, this is typed a T, it's supposed to be an F or it's, whatever form, 8B, and it was an S, so it's just all those kind of little things, and she did formatting and everything, so, just to bring that up to step, no changes with any of the regulations, just per se clerical typo errors.
Yep.
Correct. So, anybody have any?
I
comments,
thought
or-
Janet's edits looked.
So, yeah, just to clarify it, there, nothing changing with the regulations at all. It was just typographical errors that were in our bylaws, and that's it, so. nothing-
And anybody that was interested, it was posted to the website conservation page. And as you can see on the screen displayed, these are the exact changes. I've spelled out what was and what is being changed so that it's very clear to anybody reading this information that they are typographical changes and no substance.
And if I might, Joyce, the reason kind of for the push for this is Rob Truax from GLM had called because he wanted clarification on some of the stuff, and that's when it's like, oh, that's a typo, and he's like, you guys might want to fix those. And I'm like, oh, okay, we're going to get on this. So just to let him thank him, and we're hopefully taking care of all those issues.
Okay, so, anybody else have anybody from the audience here for this? All right, so I would entertain a motion to close the public hearing for the Conservation Commission regarding the wetland regulation revisions.
Alex Whiteside, so moved.
I have a second?
Al Finney, seconded.
Okay, roll call vote. Jim Wilson, aye?
Al Finney, aye.
Alex Whiteside, aye.
Bellstone, aye.
Okay. Now I entertain a motion to approve the typographical changes to the wetland regulations as presented or amended.
Al Finney, so moved.
Second?
Bell, second.
Okay. Jim Wilson, aye?
Al Finney, aye.
Alex Whiteside, aye.
Bellstone, aye.
Okay, the motion passes.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Next item on our agenda is 0 MacArthur Avenue. I would like to entertain a motion to open the public hearing for 0 MacArthur Avenue, NOI 240-0642.
Al Finney, so moved.
Second?
Alex Whiteside, second.
Okay, take a vote. Jim Wilson, aye.
Al Finney, aye.
Alex Whiteside, aye.
Bellstone, aye.
Okay, is anyone here from MacArthur Avenue? Okay,
My name is Joyce Hastings. proposing to do this is an undeveloped lot at the end of, it's on Mcarthur Ave at the end of Hunter. And it's comprised of 4 individual land court parcels. It butts up to Populated Pond. I've flagged a, let me shine up on the screen. I've flagged the top of bank at where the water's edge is. That defines the beginning of our resource areas, which sets up the 50 and the 100-foot buffer zones. Those are the dark pink lines that go through the property. Perfect, thank you. We have performed soil testing. There is no sewer out here, obviously, so we performed 3 test pits across the front of the lot and have designed a septic system in the front that will serve for 3 bedrooms. The house is a 3-bedroom house. It's about 22 feet deep at that point where your hand is and 16 feet deep at the other end. It's about 60 feet long. This lot slopes, as you can see, those contours are 2-foot contours. It's a significant slope from the top of the property down to the pond's edge. And in order to create an area suitable for an area for the house, which is approximately 4,000 square feet in this 34,000 square foot parcel, we are installing that dark red line right there is a retaining wall that will encompass the back of the property. So that retaining wall goes from 0 feet in height at the ends, and at the highest point, it's approximately 14 feet tall. It will be a structurally designed wall with footings that will support the back of the property and act as the rear limit of work. There'll be a fence along the top of that wall. There'll be about a 2-foot elevation difference between the wall and the back of the house. And again, you can see the tour lines. It will slope up to the front of the house and then slope up to where there's a 2-space parking area on the left side. And there'll be, we're proposing to put in town water that will serve this, so it'll be served by on-site septic system, town water, and electricity will also come from the front. And that's really the scope of the project in a nutshell.
Very familiar with this area. That is quite a drop-off.
It is, yes.
There's a paper road there. Is that gonna be still accessible, or is that part of the property?
The paper road is not part of the property. It is
So-
still, it's a separate parcel. So if you,
see it on the plan.
yeah, if you scroll down, yeah, see where that, keep going,
Okay,
keep
okay,
scrolling down a
yep.
little bit. So that gravel path is part of that's the Mcarthur Ave. So our property line starts behind that. So all of the improvements that we're proposing would be on the lot itself. So that
So
road.
you're bringing in quite a bit of fill, I would assume, to
So-
make that lot.
Yeah, so so again, at the back of the lot,
Yep.
where the retaining wall is, it would be filled from there forward, not so much where the septic system is, more from where the septic tank is,
Yep.
to the back.
Mhm.
That's the area that will be filled, and you can see the contours really blend in basically from the septic to the front of the house is pretty much on grade, and then the fill begins from the wall forward to the house, front of the house.
I just wanna remind anybody speaking to just try to use the microphone so that people listening at home or participating remotely or watching.
Is it
like
on,
it.
or does one have to?
I believe
press it down?
it is on. It is on.
Will someone raise their hand?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, whenever we're ready here, I guess.
I'm all set with my questions, I just wanted.
So there are questions, there are comments from the building department as to the status of these lots and whether or not it's suitable, if it meets the zoning requirements. And that's something that the applicant
been out there, Janet?
Yes, I have.
Now, one thing that would caution you is if we close a meeting and there's any changes after planning, you have to go through the whole process again. So that's,
Right, so we knew
we-
that tonight's our first meeting, and we didn't anticipate that we would be closing it tonight, although we do now have a DEP file number. But we're looking to present tonight, get all your input, and then we'll continue until the next meeting.
yeah, I always warn the applicants, because I don't want you to close and then you think you're done, and then planning or Board of Health changes, makes a somewhat of a dramatic change or moves a driveway, and then you're gonna come back and start our process all over again.
We appreciate it.
All right, Janet?
Ooh,
Is this open for discussion, or do I need to wait for?
She's gonna present what she finds, and then once it's all in, then we'll go to the audience for some questions on. And some of what she'll talk about will probably clarify what people have questions about.
I don't really have a question, but
hang on.
Right now, it's just not public comment.
Steph, can you get to my photo sheet,
Yeah.
please? Ooh, I love pictures. So, for people not familiar, but so the top left, there you go. So where the car is, the neighbor over there, but that's the end of Hunter Avenue. And so if you're lining up, right across from Hunter Ave is where the proposed driveway, I guess, is it driveway, or they just
Yes, it's a
driveway,
drive-
no garage, just
No garage,
driveway?
yeah.
Okay. And then the next photo, the slope. But if you look in the upper left-hand corner, I think you can see up there, that might be the pipe for the septic, because I was trying to, when I got out there, get a reference. And Joyce, on the top right, that's the one I was talking about that was broken but has a little pink flag.
Right.
I was just trying to line up where the house was going, and I've asked Joyce if they could please get stakes out for the corners of the house, just so you can visually, because on the plan they showed 1, 2, 3 septic, and I was trying to line up, but I only found 2, so, the next line of photos was me realizing I wasn't gonna go down that hill, because it's really, if you're up towards the edge, you see the pond, it just goes down, so I went down to that boat launch area on, what is that, Lake Shore, and went in from that way to go along that wetland line there. I guess Joyce, good for her, made it down that hill, but I wasn't, she probably makes more money than I do, but anyway, so.
Without grace.
Oh my goodness, that was fun. Couple of things, Joyce, and it's just, oh, but I have a question too. On the plan, because all the stuff lists 120 and then 121 through 125 Mcarthur. But that lot way over on the left, LC 120, there's no work shown on that.
Well,
Are they,
No, so we just showed, we're only working in the light green area, where the light green is, that's the only area that we're working in. Everything that's dark is, we're not
But-
working in. So
but-
we only did the topography of the area that,
but they listed all those lots.
it's all part of that same parcel.
Okay,
So-
cause then it also threw me where they have the building setback in the middle of 121, that lot there. When,
That's a good question.
I can answer that.
okay, well, remember that, let me keep, don't you misplace me, okay, oh, but then also you didn't include the, sheets for the delineation? They're not in the package.
Okay,
You
I will
notice?
forward those to you. Yep.
Okay, super. Right, cause I have it, property recording info is incorrect and should list both parcels 120 and then 121-125. So if there's anything wrong with that, because if and when I do up order conditions, I'm gonna be going
Right.
with all of those lots.
I'll make sure that
Okay,
we have the
super.
proper references.
And also on the plan too, it said lists assessor's reference, and it says map 20 block, I'm sorry, map 4, block 20, lot 15, but it didn't mention 14.
All right, I'll
So-
have to, I'll confirm that.
There's inconsistencies going through, and you know, and I can even send you guys the whole list over, so you know, right, and I already talked to you about your numbering error on those flags. That kinda messed me up. It's just, she did like 2 and 2 and 3, 4, 5, 5, and,
Well, when you're going up and down, it was kinda hard to, and I apologize for that.
no. No, I enjoyed it out there. Right, but there's no work shown on that lot. And I didn't know if is all that land available for doing this work or not?
What do you mean?
Well, like if they could switch to put the house somewhere else or, you know, like,
Well, the septic kinda has to go where the septic's going. There isn't a lot of flexibility with respect to access either, so,
and right in front of the house, is that the front setback line?
yes, so the house was set back at the minimum front yard setback.
So it's not like they can shift that further over down along the road,
Right.
okay. And I was confused because before and after grading on the side of the houses, my mind went, okay, when you come out of the back of the house, you have like a 14-foot wall in front of you, and you'll never be able, but Joyce is seeing all the numbers up in there are the spot
So the
grades.
spot grades, so because there's the dark contours that come out from the house are connecting existing topography. May I walk to the screen?
Oh, please.
So the dashed lines are existing contours, and these dark lines are proposed, so that you can see this 182 is being tied into the house, showing that it's fairly on grade in this area here, but then when you get to the back of the house, this is where the fill would be. So there were individual spot elevations rather than contour, because there's no, it's filled up in that area there. So rather than putting contour lines, we have spot elevations. So this is 181 and 179, so there's a 2-foot drop across the backyard.
So how high will that wall be?
Again, it goes from 0, at its highest point, it's about 14 feet. But it's not 14 feet, you're not looking out over it, the backyard is filled.
The backyard is filled
It's a
how high?
14-foot drop from the property
Yep.
down.
Right.
So you'd have to go down the bottom and look at the wall, that's when you're gonna see
The wall-
that
So you
14
see
feet.
the back of the wall, and there's a fence across the top of the wall so that no one goes over the edge
No,
of the
but
fence.
like if you're at the back of the house,
So you back at house, you're just looking right over the wall. The wall's at the ground elevation. It sticks up about a foot.
You'll see a fence like a back.
See a fence.
well, that's it, with that hill, it was, okay, no, thank you.
They gotta fill it all in. So there will be no stockpiling really of material, because you're gonna bring most of it in, right?
Right.
There won't be anywhere to stockpile anyway, but
There's no way to, no,
Yeah.
there's no real good, there's no spots. Most everything has to be brought
brought
in
in
and brought out again.
Right.
Because they can't stockpile and
Yeah.
only on their own lot, and so it has to be in and out.
Well, but their lots goes all the way over to 120, so.
Well,
we
we're
can't
only
use
allowed
it.
to work within the limit of our proposed work.
Oh.
So that, all that other
So
stuff is not gonna
so
get
the
touched,
What I'm
correct?
trying to say is the light green area, where my erosion control runs right around that, that's the limit of work. They cannot work outside that area. That's all we're asking for permission to.
Oh, okay.
And what are you proposing, are the walls gonna be placed first for anything from cascading further down the hill?
So the wall would be constructed first, and then the house foundation, and then working
The
the
wall
way
will be
back.
your retaining for anything to continue
Right.
going down the hill.
That would be the first barrier, and Janet had a good point.
Layers.
Right. So Janet had a good point about, I've proposed filter mitt, and this might not be an appropriate application for that. It might be, we would switch to like a double row of straw bales
Yeah,
around the
fence
limit.
or something,
Yeah.
if anything did get by, it'll.
Right.
Okay.
Now, how much of this work is going to be on the other side of the retaining wall?
None. Well, but my limit, the dark dashed line, I'm just giving us enough room on the back side of the,
Okay, so,
area, just,
so the mitigating materials will be on that dark line?
yep,
Okay.
it's everything forward.
And then anything forward. So in the orders of condition or on your map, it should include that your plan for materials coming off, the type of material and, that it's gonna come off and where the trucks are gonna be stored that are waiting, so that we don't have any issues, with stored materials on the property site.
Right, okay, yes, I can do that.
So that MacArthur Ave area there, is that like neutral area? Like if you have trucks waiting to dump or fill or whatever, they can be there and they're,
They could be there, it's, well, that's something that's gonna have to be timed with, the contractor, because they also can't be hanging out in the neighborhood, this is
Yeah,
a very
it's very
small,
limited
densely
space
packed
up
area.
there.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So things are gonna have to be scheduled and timed and, to be good neighbors, so.
well, that's even with me going there, I wasn't sure where I can park for being out of the way or the male
Yeah, well,
people
they
turning
could
around.
pull off, Janet, to the road here.
Mhm.
The trucks could pull in there and back in, but they wouldn't be able to have 3 or 4 trucks lined up there, because the neighbors, they wouldn't be able to move up there. It's not a lot of room.
No, and it's only a width of about 14 feet, so it's
Yeah.
not like there's a lot of material in, it's only 14 feet wide,
Yeah.
that the area that they're filling. So this isn't truck after truck after
Mhm.
truck,
Yes.
it's just,
Yep.
a minimal area.
Sidebar, not a conservation thing, but we ran into it at another site. And it's not conservation, please, but as a homeowner or a neighbor, whatever, but, do they need to have like a turnaround, like if fire trucks have to come, well, fire trucks already have to come up there and have to deal with that, I didn't know if they need
Yeah,
to.
that's a dead-end street, so there is no
That's not a
roundabout. They
concern.
can't put that in there. That never happened. There's no room for that in
Okay.
that area.
And if they haven't dealt with it for the other people up
Yeah.
there, okay, no, just trying to think of anything, in advance, so, all right, so, yeah, so if we can have a correction maybe on the erosion controls. Does that leave them enough room between the erosion controls and the retaining wall?
Yes.
And when would people have information on the retaining wall?
So once this goes through permitting, then, once permission, and before they go to the building department, this will go to a structural engineer to have that wall designed. Which we're not gonna do it now, cause as you pointed out, it might change, whether we change the height or whatever. And so we will, until we finish with permitting, get designed by the, structural engineer.
Are you generic enough with references to your plans, so if you just be made if there's an order, it would be okay?
So we're designing it in a specific way, and so I'm not anticipating that the structural engineer would change what we're doing. Just, as you pointed out, rather than going for a building permit first, we're going through conservation first. So, we're just, once we get finished here, then the structural engineer will design it, and he will meet the specs that we've set out. Then it goes to the building department, to get the building permits to do that.
Okay. And proposed drive, is that paved, gravel?
It's proposed to be paved.
Paved?
Even though, again, everything's in front of it's gravel, if we pave it, it stays in place. And we're not so much worried about maintenance. So, and we'd like to have a paved surface upon which to park vehicles.
I think that covers, yeah, right, so, and if you could also get me your, wetland delineation
I'll get you
sheets,
those.
thank you. And I can send you the list too for the little tweaking of
Absolutely.
references.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. I think that covers me for now, Jim, thank you.
Okay, and someone from the audience?
Yes. Do you have to clear something up, or?
No,
Go ahead. Okay, I'm the abutter at the end of Hunter.
Can you state your name and address?
Mike Ferrera, 30 Hunter Avenue.
Thank you.
You're welcome. This morning, I received a copy of a letter that was sent to you folks. I don't know when you got it, yesterday or last week. And it details the DPW from 15, 16 years ago trying to abandon this road because of exactly what you were just talking about. Safety vehicles, it's impassable for for them to get up and down that road. The police will occasionally use, even they go to the end of the road on Hunter and just turn around and go back. They don't go down MacArthur Ave. A fire truck has no chance whatsoever of getting down the slope on MacArthur Avenue. So this letter that we're looking at now, when I got to the end of it, I saw that he did, the town planner, Mr. McLaughlin, did include the DPW letter from 15, 16 years ago. What I'm not sure you have, and I don't know why you don't have it, it's been circulated, it was circulated 15 years ago throughout this entire building and all the surrounding towns. We had a variance denial. We wanted to build an addition. The zoning board unanimously voted to deny the variance.
This is conservation, so
I
we don't
understand.
have, this is not our jurisdiction at all.
We're doing a lot of talking here out a road that probably isn't
But
going to be able to get built on.
It's of no consequence to conservation. You need to talking to the planning board, and then they may need to go to zoning.
It's been through zoning.
So,
Zoning's abandoned the road 16
Okay,
years
so,
ago. They
again,
abandoned the road.
that's up to those two sections to do. We're just conservation. The only jurisdiction we have is on the wetlands and,
Understandable. I just wanted to point this out because I think we're spending a lot of time talking about something that may not come to fruition.
well, she, as an applicant, has a right to come in front of us.
Sure.
And we have, under our jurisdiction,
Yeah, I'm not trying
to give her,
give anybody a hard time.
yeah, just a
believe me.
second, so, to give her, feedback on how her property and how her building affects the wetlands. And that's what she asked, and that's why she's here as an applicant. So any comments on the applicant and the wetlands is what we're here for. The other things are for, planning and zoning. That's all, unfortunately, that's our jurisdiction, so
I understand.
we-
I just came here just in case all of this information has, for whatever reason, not landed here.
no, and I feel for you, you have,
It's important that all the committees that need to look at this understand what the situation is.
we do, and as, you know, unfortunately, the only thing that our members could do would be to look at this as a private member not on the board. But on our commission, this has no consequence to us, so,
I was just here to dispense information, that's all.
yeah, so when this goes in front of planning, when they have their session in planning, or, you know, they'll also have an opportunity then to voice, to bring all the materials that you brought in front of us to them, and they would be the acting body.
You guys just went first, that's the only reason. I mean, I got the letter a week ago Saturday and a week ago Monday. I was speaking with.
And it's not uncommon for an applicant to come in front of us before they even design a plot, because what they want to do is find out where the wetland flags are first, and then we continue the meeting till they get to planning, because the worst thing you can do is design a building and do the whole thing and make a finalized plan, and then we say, I'm sorry, you're in the 35-foot buffer area, you gotta go back 15 feet, and that just throws everything off. So when there's a house that's that close to the 50-foot barrier, it's not uncommon at all for the applicant to come in front of us and ask for wetland guidance. That's what they're doing now, which is not uncommon at all. But we don't, as told the applicant, we won't close the meeting and we won't give orders of conditions because it hasn't gone through planning and they haven't placed the building. So if we gave her orders of conditions for the applicant, they move the house 10 feet, the orders are now null and void, she has to start the whole process over again. So that's why we're going over exactly she knows what we expect, where equipment can go, where equipment can't go, what needs to be hauled off the property, And as you can tell, we're being pretty strict with what we expect to be done by the applicant. So they have an understanding of what they're up against before they go and start more engineering and design costs.
Yours will be included as part of the record of tonight's meeting.
I just wanted to make the board aware of
The DPW is also aware of the situation on that.
Well, the DPW drove
So-
this 15 years ago, so.
I would encourage you to follow up with the town planner, and just stay in communication with him as this process evolves. Because it's just part of staying in the loop and staying informed.
Could also contact Richard, correct?
Town
Yeah.
planner.
Yeah. Richard McCarthy's been working with the applicant
Oh,
and
yeah, I went to him last Monday first, and the letter I received that you have,
Yeah.
the same letter, and that's from Richard as well. He sort of sent it to me this morning.
But Richard's working with the applicant also on the same, so there's letters going back and forth. And we were made aware of the situation, just so we're aware of the situation, so. And this is why Janet brought up the naming of the plots, because that would throw the whole thing off yet again. Because it's gone from a number, 120 to 124 to 0. So, that changes the whole format too, so. Does that, hopefully it helps you.
The 124.
Well, I understand what your role is here tonight. My role in coming tonight was, again, you folks went lead off on this as far as committees go. And the letter I got for this meeting is the first one I got. So I just came here to give a background, give the history of what's happened with this road in the past. Again, I know you're not interested in zoning, but zoning did abandon this road 15, 16 years ago. So I think that's just important for everybody to know before anybody moves further with this, is that, you know, that's potential other hurdle that we dealt with.
So I think what we'd like to do is just a continuance until your next meeting.
Well, what's that?
I'd like to request a continuance till your next meeting.
Of course, so what we'll do is we'll set it to continuance and for next meeting. So next meeting, you don't have to attend if you want to continue it.
I'll
Just
check with
email
Janet, yeah.
Stephanie and say I'd like to continue, or Stephanie and Janet, so Janet's aware of. And then they'll let us all know. And then we just continue it now that it's on. We don't have to close it and start again. We'll just continue it as you progress the other boards and commissions, so.
Thank you very much.
All right. Is there anyone else that has,
The other person in the back?
anybody else have?
Oh, I was just gonna clarify the point on lot 120, but
That's not,
it's not necessary.
And Joyce, one last minor little Janet thing, but, I know it's out, and first of all, I appreciate leaving that 0 to 50 alone, you know, not being an issue. Of course, if you go down there, you'll never get back up that hill. But can they just extend, they don't need to, but the erosion controls up to the top of the property? Like where the driveway area is,
Yes,
just that few
yeah.
more feet, just for visual and trucks backing up or whatever?
absolutely.
Super, thank you.
And did you discuss the type of erosion control
Yes, we did.
based on how long this is gonna take?
Yes.
Then you could
Alright.
also change it, you know, or split it where you have heavier stuff in the back by the wall, and then what you were proposing up along the sides or something.
It's a small area, so for visual barrier, we'll probably do the same thing.
Okay.
Any members have any questions, comments?
Be aware of snow. I plowed that a lot. There's a lot of places, where your house is going is where we pile the snow over the hill. So you might wanna make sure you have something visible during the winter if this does go through for snow plowing, cause you probably put it on the right side of that road, and probably on the left if there's any space left.
Yeah,
So,
maybe some street improvements.
Just something to think about in your building and that the plows go up there and they have to have somewhere to put the snow in.
Especially with the septic leaching up there too, you don't
Yes.
want.
You don't want it up on your leach field, obviously, so.
Yeah, this is something we've
Yep.
talked to DPW about. Just
Just mention it, that's all.
come in first.
We appreciate you guys coming first. I think we're good till our next meeting,
Okay.
maybe?
So, all right, so I'll entertain a motion to continue the public hearing for 0 MacArthur Avenue, NOI 240-0642 to December 8th, 2021 at 7:01.
Al Finney, so moved.
All right, have a second?
Alstone, second.
Okay, we'll vote. Jim Wilson, aye.
Al Finney, aye.
Alex Whiteside, aye.
Alstone, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. So it's
Thank you very
continued to next.
Good night.
Night.
Okay, that concludes
you.
the public hearing portion of our agenda. Janet,
Yes, sir.
do you have enough for 16 vet time? Have you talked,
Yes, last Monday afternoon, I met with Marty Nover. Kind of gave her a quick, with what's happened going on there. Had stuff, what do you want copies
Yeah.
of, giving her copies. So I emailed her today with Marty. We have a meeting tonight, I haven't heard from you.
Okay.
And anyway, so she's hoping beginning of next week to get something over.
okay,
In the meantime, though, because Rachel Watsky asked me, the lawyer's office for next door, and emailed her, how we would probably be continuing, and then I talked with Matt Watsky, he called, and he, suggested, and this was just like 5 o'clock tonight or something, but from possibly if we should send out to, a couple of more consultants to get in a couple different bids, so prices can be compared or whatever, so I don't know if the commission,
we've tried that, and it's gone on for quite a while now, and Marty Nova's, she's been reasonable in the other things that she's done in the peer reviews, and I think the project she did, last couple of projects have been very reasonable, I thought, for the extent of scope of work that they did.
so you think we're okay with?
Yeah,
okay, super.
at this point, we're approaching, almost 8 months, so,
Zach hasn't been able to do any work yet, right? He's
Yeah,
not
so-
removed anything.
I know.
so at this
So we-
point, if the applicant hasn't found anyone, and we found someone, so I think,
And even too, if she gets something beginning of next week, where are we now, the 11th, so 18th?
I think didn't your email say you were gonna get a price from her and then propose that to Zach? Cause the one that's gonna be paying.
Well, it got a little confusing because other people were sending emails. I think Rich had originally said to Mr. Gloss about come up with a price, and then they pay the town, right? How did it work? Because we're hiring them.
yeah, with
We're
any of that,
hiring
you have
them,
to
and
talk
then
to
we
Rich.
have to get
Yeah.
reimbursed and,
But now, we're September, October, and winter's coming and nothing's getting
Yeah.
done, and I know
It's not
Zach
that
is,
big of a project.
no, just gotta
You
get
just
something
gotta
out there.
watch them remove down to organic matter, and that, so,
so we'll see.
Yeah.
Hopefully she'll get something at the beginning of the week in 1 second, and I can send that off to
Yeah.
everybody to look. All
Okay.
right.
Get an action item for 4 Saddle Ridge certificate of release.
Right, that was originally a subdivision with the house lots, and the subdivision order conditions will be on the whole parcel. But this house down on the end didn't fall under conservation, but there's under the recording information for the original subdivisions. So that relief to free them from that
Oh, okay.
yeah. And he has that sheet. Why is everybody looking at me?
So it is prepared, we're ready to,
What's that?
we have it prepared, we'll need a motion to,
Do you want to show it so maybe somebody could read that? It might make it easier.
I have a motion prepared,
Prepared where?
on the notes.
Oh, on Jim's notes. Oh, all right, okay.
Okay, so, anybody have any issues? All right, so we'll entertain A motion to issue the certificate of release for 4 Saddle Ridge encumbered by NOI 240-0432.
Alex Whiteside, so moved.
Al Finney seconded.
Roll call vote, Jim Wilson, aye.
Al Finney, aye.
Alex Whiteside, aye.
Fellstone, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. Next, the minutes. Everybody get a chance to go through the last month's minutes?
I read them. Seemed to be all right with me. Didn't see any issues.
Okay, so if that's the case, entertain a motion to approve the minutes for July 14th, 2021 Conservation Commission meeting.
I make a motion to approve the minutes for,
Okay,
Is that again?
second?
Fellstone, second.
Okay, roll call vote, Jim Wilson, aye.
Al Finney, aye.
Alex Whiteside, aye.
Fellstone, aye.
Okay, the motion passes. All right. Next, we have, Janet, give us a little bit on the Natural Heritage Atlas.
We had gotten that before,
Mhm.
and I think we had to like July 13th or something to review it and let them know, and that's just letting them
Did you see anything?
know. And
Nothing.
it was hard too because, and even now they're not, it doesn't seem that we're getting paper copies anymore. So you're trying to, yes, you know, that's what it is, but, just that the new maps are effective for August 1st.
Okay,
So they're already,
okay.
it's already done.
And Eversource is out and about?
Yeah, and that's the old, power lines, they came to us, or it started at Dean Street with the ice place, ice
Yeah.
skating or something, and it's those big ones going all the way across, so, and I appreciate the heads up to let us know they're gonna be going and working on this one, you know, so.
Have we got any complaints at all, Stephanie? No? Okay. Because I know we've had in the past when we've source projects, people have talked about them cutting down tree-owned property, they thought, and so just want to sure that
Nothing, yeah.
we do
And
hear
I don't know if
things.
they've done anything yet, but they were letting us know, I don't know if they gave us certain dates, but I
Okay.
appreciate the heads up and, you know, in case something does come up.
Okay,
And we have Rob Cain still waiting, Mr. for,
And- which one are you here for, sir?
The 33 Medway.
Okay, you know what, we
There's
could,
only one more to go.
what's that?
You got water and
Whatever.
Yeah.
You can jump if you want.
Yeah, we could, why don't we go to 33 Medway Street, we'll jump to that one.
I have the red light.
Oh,
must be he's gonna say bad stuff.
Sure.
Oh, you're special.
Good evening, board members. So I
Have a open space subdivision off of Medway Street, Norway Farms Drive. And the house in the lower right-hand corner, back, yep, right there, is an existing home since 1993. And we have maintained a gravel driveway from our old access road before we had this subdivision road put in. And we're in the process of selling that and the home. And we would like to pave the driveway from the street down to the rear parking area and also up to the front of the house. And there is, I'm not sure of the square feet, Rick had, my engineer at United Consultants, had prepared a plan
It's color coded.
that has the square footage of what is inside the 100-foot buffer. but by allowing us to pave that, it would, you know, reduce sediment during the winter when you're plowing. That driveway is located right next to the bioretention pond. You know, and I'm looking at that, Janet, that is not the current plan.
I'm passing around the one that you sent with the green, yellow highlights.
Okay.
And I know.
And we have Rick's plan that he prepared with the square footages on it.
You're, there's not the green on it? Hang on, no,
Yeah.
no, sit.
Yep.
This is really
Yeah.
confusing as
That's
to what
not the
exactly,
It's going to,
And Rick
it's
has,
gonna be vegetated, but why would that be paved?
yeah, like it's ongoing.
Jim, excuse me, if I could just borrow this one, and I just might be able to make sure this is the one you're talking about.
yes, it is. Yep. Yes, that's perfect.
So this is what you want.
Yeah.
I think
If I could go up to the board,
this was more of because I don't.
Yeah,
think
this-
we
this-
remembered
yeah,
the round
that's
when this
incorrect.
came through for the resource.
This is paving here and here.
so,
Yes.
So is it connected?
Paving, no, it's not connected, there's two different areas. There's two different areas. Here's the house. He wants to pave in this area here and this area here.
So it's,
This is in the wetlands and this part is in the 100-foot buffer. I was out at the site, I've looked at it myself.
so I'm gonna go up to the board for just a minute.
Okay.
So this was a preliminary
Yeah, but they're-
plan that we had done that is not the approved subdivision plan. It's very similar. This, the whole property is, like Tailwind Circle. So it's all drainage swales on one side of the road.
Mhm.
That goes down to a 4-bay and then into the bioretention pond. And the actual design is the bioretention pond is more sort of in this area, and the driveway comes right down next to it. And same with up here, and this is where my septic system is, so one driveway goes around. So it's this piece that is inside the 100, and it's this small area right in here is inside the 100. And what we're proposing is to have everything sloped. This also goes uphill for the most part, except for right in here. So we were gonna put a dribble edge around the outside of the paved area and have everything drain down across the septic, across the other driveway and then into the bioretention pond. And then also when you're plowing snow during the winter, when you come in here, you know, if there's any gravel or whatever, by having that paved, you're not going down over the hill into the wetland area. But again, with the open space and that open drainage, everything else will either be planted or it'll be paved, so there won't be any erosion.
And what's the slope on the other side of the drive? You say it goes uphill a little bit?
Yes, it starts off, I'm not good at reading the contour lines, I'm not sure, they're very faint here. This goes up all through here, and as you get to the top, I kind of built where there was a knoll way back. It has a basement on the bottom. So this is pretty much level in here, and as you start coming down in here, you're probably already negative with the slope going up.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with paving anything next to wetlands away from the wetlands like that, because then you don't get the erosion of the roadway into the wetlands. So paving is always a better thought. The only thing then becomes, if it's headed towards the wetlands, then we'd require like a recharge area or something, or, that type of drainage. But if you're gonna drain it towards the retention pond, I think that is a smart way to go.
Yes, yep. And on Rick's plan also.
But don't go by me, guys, I mean,
no, I mean.
Well, it's easier if you're out there, this doesn't do it justice, but if you go out there and physically see it, which I did, because I was out there for another issue with water, and Rob showed me the area. I think, Rob, the only thing in question was the top of the back driveway. Right in that corner, you were gonna lift that up a little, make sure that pitched away, not into the wetlands.
Yeah, this whole, we have a front walk going down.
Yes.
And so everything here is gonna drain in and then down.
And down.
There's some pine trees, evergreens, that are in through there.
Which right now, by doing that, would prevent erosion going into the wetlands. It's gonna send
Yeah,
it
so,
back
yeah.
the other way, so.
And we're keeping one of these little turnarounds. There's another one, I think, shown on the plan that came into here. We're gonna omit that. And then in the future, I think Rick has a note on there that we're planting this area,
Yeah.
which is now driveway.
Mhm.
So that will be trees between the house and a barn that's going to be renovated. So that will be going back, and then quite a bit of this area that's all gravel is also gonna go back to, planted trees,
Okay.
grass, whatever, so. There'll be quite a bit more. planted
So,
back.
Janet, is this something that would need an RDA?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't, originally just came to us, I think, whatever years ago, for the resource area delineation, and I don't even think, you didn't have to file with us for your subdivision.
For our subdivision plan, no, because
No.
the only part that was in the resource area was already my existing structure.
Okay.
Everything else was outside of it.
So because he's grassing a gravel area, even if it wasn't within so many feet of a waterway, he's reducing the,
He's helping.
yeah, so he's helping it, so he's getting a plus,
yeah,
not a
he's
negative.
getting
So
rid of some of the gravel,
That
yeah.
shouldn't be an issue, correct?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
because I met them out there, and that is out there and seeing it, it makes sense. No problem with any of it. In fact, I think I even brought up about this side of that driveway having a berm or something, so people at night wouldn't maybe
Yep.
go to hell or whatever, but, yeah, so swapping some gravel for paving, which people pushing gravel and having that go everywhere, and, the sediment and refill or whatever, makes sense, and then in the other part, taking away the gravel and making it a vegetated area, so, I didn't see any problems with any of what he was talking about.
Okay.
The other, and this is not in the 100-foot area, but the bioretention pond is pretty central, and that is gonna be planted out, and with the proximity of the wetlands, I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of creatures that find new homes down there.
It's nice out there. So far, so good, you're doing good out there,
Yeah, it's coming along.
yeah.
So, what do we need to do now?
This was just informal discussion, he wanted to,
Get an idea before?
Yes, I just wanted to make sure it was okay. It was actually the future owner's closing attorney that asked a question. I'm planning on paving the driveway. And he said, well, some of that's in front of inside the 100-foot buffer. And honestly, I had completely forgot. And so I told him that I would come in and check it out, do whatever was needed to be done to make sure we were squared away. So,
I don't foresee any impacts, negative impacts at all. Anything we were talking about or I saw, should all be pluses for this,
yep.
Good luck.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Is it possible to get just a letter saying that it's okay to go ahead and do this, or?
Is that okay with you guys? That discussed it and
If you wanted to list,
we can attach, because that's the, sure.
Rick does have that engineered plan we're proposing to do. Make sure it's the right one, right? That is Rick's plan, yeah, yeah. With a letter, yeah, that'd be perfect, yeah. I'm very much a handshake guy, but it's gonna be the closing attorney that's gonna wanna
Mhm.
see something or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, attorney?
Yep, always gotta put it in writing.
Do you want me, do I have a phone number? Do you want me to call you when that's ready, or do you want me to just mail that to you, or what?
Yeah, or just email it.
Oh,
That-
email.
That's fine. Or I'll come down.
No email?
Yep. No, just give me a call. I'll come down and pick a copy up. That's fine.
Appreciate that, good, and that way you'll have a hard copy.
Yeah.
You can email it
Yeah.
later.
So,
Good.
excellent. Thank you very much for your time.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
you,
for
Rob.
checking.
Okay.
All right, Rob, Cain.
Hey, one thing that's not on here, ask David, we had in the past put in an announcement in the Norfolk Community Facebook page, looking for members, letting the community know that we had to open seats on our commission.
So,
So,
just to keep you in the loop, I have communicated with the town administrator's
What's that?
office. Communicated with town administrator's office as of today, as recently as today.
Oh, okay.
To suggest, that, you know, the positions be mentioned as part of their next meeting's agenda. And I'm gonna be working with Judith, the town administrator's assistant, to do what we can to try to fill some of these vacancies.
Might even be
I
able to
think
search
it's
it
time
on
that we
this.
get creative, but utilizing Facebook may be an option. We also have the town webpage, word of mouth,
Mhm.
you know, a lot of you are in, you know, certain avenues of business or recreation that you may have friends or relatives that live in town that would find the subject matter interesting, intriguing, or maybe their background is conducive. So it's definitely something to talk amongst your friends and family, because we may have potential members right under our noses, so.
Yep.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, next thing, Recreation Department possible land use. We're at a little disadvantage because 2 out of the 3 parties aren't here, but, it might be prudent that maybe I talk with Rich or meet with Rich and maybe put it on the next month's agenda.
Yeah, we can just carry this over.
'Cause I don't think it's all that big an issue.
I thought we had a discussion on this, and it was
thought
found that
we-
we could not transfer any land.
It is evolving, it is evolving, but I think without David,
remember.
with Rich present,
Right.
and certainly without Ann Proto here, I
Yeah.
don't think that it would really be, wise to even broach
We'll
this
have to
matter
get with,
tonight.
Because I just thought we had voted on this already in a meeting, like a few months back, and it was determined and looked into, and it was decided that we could not transfer or sell or
We'll have
any
to look
of-
into that, because I'm not sure if that was someone's opinion.
Yes, well, that's what I mean,
Yeah.
I thought it was in our meeting, and I thought
Oh,
we
we
had
asked for
discussed
town
it.
council to look into it.
Yeah, so we might want to look back at some patents and see
The
what.
idea of, are you actually transferring it, or are you letting them use it? Because that's,
we were letting them use it.
Yeah,
And now it's become, we gotta find out from Richard what we need to do to finalize this.
Yeah.
I think there's
again,
probably a way to
Legally.
grant a license for the use.
Well, and it's just, it's more of a matter of, you know, discovery in some sense, in that it has evolved since we had voted.
because there's quite a bit of clearing that's gonna have to happen, trees.
Right.
and that's when we had, it was Rich, David, me, and Proto having a discussion, and Dave was saying the idea of possibly having it where there was a time limit, like you can use it for so long, but, you know, we can
Right.
get it back if we
Because it
want
was
to.
staked, it was all staked out, and then I know the stakes have been pulled and returned to the DPW, so that's why I thought it was.
And I thought that was unfortunate, because I didn't know they ever staked it.
It
And I
was-
brought up
yeah.
about going to see it, and it's like,
Yes.
people already walked it, and I'm like,
Yep.
okay, whatever.
Well, from my point of view, even if you took down the timber and moved it to grass, it increases the insect population across that, which is gonna help
Yes.
bird population, small rodents, so, very few things lived in an actual thickly wooded.
I think it's mostly pines, if I'm not mistaken. I didn't walk it, but I've been out
is.
there, and I think mostly pines, so.
Yeah.
Being near fields, it'd be nice to have it cleared, just to keep mosquitoes and breeding and stuff like that
Well,
down.
pines are also good places for owls for breeding and
Yes.
everything, so.
Well, they got the town pond, so they do have plenty of room over there, but again, it all depends on if we can do something with the land or not,
Okay.
legally.
But I'll email Richard,
And
next
he's
week.
on, yeah, he's on vacation this
Yeah.
week, so.
and then we'll try to get that ball moving in a positive way. So does any have any issues with us detimbering an area to use for a ball field? Before we go, I mean, I don't want
I'm
to
not even
speak for
saying
everyone
that it
else.
is actually going to be detimbered.
What's that?
I think they said that they wanted to extend their soccer field, right?
Right, right.
So I think I don't remember how many feet she wanted to clear, but I think that they did want to clear a certain number of feet.
Yeah, there's quite a.
Clearing and grading
Yeah,
and.
because the field already
leveling.
goes to that, so it's gotta be detimbered, de-stumped, and then loomed and seeded, and,
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of, it's gonna have to be spent money-wise to do this, to get it into a soccer field. But I
I
don't think
think-
it would be
Yeah,
a
so-
bad thing, myself.
So she would have to, the recreation department would then figure out what the line item budget's gonna be to go to, in front of the town to even, so I think we're kind of the first thing, I guess, maybe I misrepresented what I was saying or misspoke. If I'm for, maybe detimbering a little bit of the area, use it as a soccer field, is it will increase some of the insect population, help with birds, road type of thing. But if the members are, then I guess that's what I'm asking, if anyone, has an issue with it.
I don't have any objections.
How much area are we
It's
talking
a
about?
50 by 300 space.
50 feet deep by 300 feet long, which is abuts the railroad tracks are right there, and on the back side of the tracks, on the other side, is Town Pond,
Okay.
which is quite a good size area of vegetation and land.
Yeah. No, I don't have a problem with
Okay. Just, I thought it'd be, kind of prudent to kind of poll everybody where we're thinking
Yeah.
before we go ahead and do this, and then three of us say,
Put the
no,
cart before the horse, right.
we've spent 8 months doing this, but no, we really don't
Right.
want this.
No.
So, okay. Then Lint Farm, what do we want to discuss?
Was it the signage?
Yeah, we had signs in that, but DPW
So-
hasn't had a chance to put anything up there,
Well,
kind of
I-
shorthanded.
Lynn Farm has officially been accepted by Google as a conservation property in the town of Norfolk. It's searchable. We had something like 50 views, 50 visits last week alone. So now that it's been accepted, I can go in and kind of.
That's cool, you can
punch up a
monitor
little
it?
bit. Yeah,
Nice.
it's just like owning a business in a sense. And so you're able to kind of keep the traction, see the reviews that are coming in. So
Nice.
to kind of segue, you've got we have a 5-star rating from somebody who has used the property for biking. And I believe it's the same individual that has been in contact with the commission about utilizing the space for biking as well. So it's nice that we've got our first 5-star rating, and I just thought I would,
There you go.
but
Here,
hopefully
Here,
we'll
have a
be able
candy
to-
in celebration.
But I'm hoping that, with that, we can further along, more of our properties in that sense, and,
How long does that take for them to?
so it was about a month turnaround, because I had kind of, the initial start of all this was about a month ago, so I'm seeing Lynn Farm being accepted first. I can't recall the order that I worked from, but, Yes, I would say about a month, but I'm not sure what, process Google has to accept them and, how that all evolves. So, with that, I will segue into conservation signage, if that's okay with everybody. So that's the sort of item on our agenda tonight. If we're gonna be advertising, I think it makes to try to get those signs out. We do have them in our possession.
Those last orders, so where Public Works?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I think we have to take some type of action to decide where some of these signs will be placed. I don't know if you want to do it on a case-by-case scenario where as it gets accepted, as it gets accepted by Google, since it's being now publicly advertised and not just known by Norfolk residents, but other members that may be visiting, that we make sure that we're getting the signage out there, because I do reference park rules in the description for each property. So it may be beneficial to have those signs up so that when people are arriving, they know that they're at where they need to be.
Yeah.
It is a very wooded town, so we don't want people thinking that just because it's a gravel patch, you've arrived at your destination. So I think it's important to at least try to get some of these signs up and get that ball rolling.
I will try.
Chop, chop.
But right now, we've got a couple guys out on injuries, and we've got a couple positions empty in the DPW, so they got paving coming up. They got the 150, there's a parade on the 18th, which is gearing up pretty big, so I'll see what I can do, if I can get any of them up. But we also, the thing I brought up, I think Dave was gonna mark spots, or somebody's gonna tell us, gotta
could
know
we
where to
use-
put them.
Could we use the Lions to do some of this?
Maybe, the Lions might,
They're always
might-
looking for projects.
yes,
I think if we
yes.
gave them
That
the
would be
spot
something,
where we want them, they'd probably put them up.
yes,
Yeah.
Because they're always looking for projects.
yeah.
Check with Burial?
Yeah, I'll check with, I know the signs are there, I know the everything
No, but
came in.
But I thought I had gone through or whatever, like, photos, for like Maple Street, and here's the,
Yeah.
here's the property, and for them, same with having, I'm just thinking Public Works is, and I'm not belittling the Lions, but like Maple Street's a long parcel. Where do they put that sign? So this might be a beggar, or this might be where you
Right.
guys do the snow in the winter time.
Yeah,
or-
so it's, again, it's the positioning that's gotta be determined, and I'll try and talk to Barry and see if
Yeah, because
he
I
can
thought
give
he
me
said he
5
knew where they
minutes.
were going, so just
Yep.
to double check.
And if
Yep.
there's anything I can do to help facilitate it,
Mhm.
if we need to get maps out, or, photos of actual locations,
Yeah.
we'll work on it, because I think that it's important that, especially for people, out-of-town people, and people that are new to these
people
parks.
in town, hello,
Yeah, but people that are new to these parks, they,
visit town,
Yeah. that they understand that there are rules in place in order to.
Well, like I said, we'll see what we can do. I mean, maybe even the water division might be able to help out during the day. If we have them on the truck, we're in that area, you could put one up, at least get one or two. But, again, the DPW is strict. I just wanna make sure that's known. That's why it's not being done. So,
this is like, did plans to put the line back in the paved road
oh,
on
yes,
110
yes,
before the snow comes?
yeah.
Okay,
They're planning, it's money issue and timing.
you got the
issue.
paving done,
So,
let's
yeah.
just courtesy to the drivers,
yeah,
so
yep.
the other people know which side is theirs.
You've been heard.
I have a
There-
bucket of chalk at home,
Yeah.
want me to?
North Street definitely needs to have a line put down it,
Oh
that's for
my
sure.
lord, yeah.
It's gonna be done.
Does Lind Farm have an actual address besides the North Street? Because one time I broke down like at Lind Farm and I was trying to tell AAA where it was.
Yeah, so what
and I couldn't find an address online. I was like, it's on North Street. I don't know the address.
But
And
it
they-
looks like, the sign's on Marshall Street.
Yeah,
Which-
that's the way, it
Where do
starts
you-
on Marshall.
Where do you park on Marshall Street, and if you wanted to use?
I don't know if there's parking on Marshall Street.
We're working with Rich because, and every nice grass him when he's back from vacation, because on Marshall Street, where that new road goes up across the way, where it's got the stupid enter and exit, and I always go the wrong way.
No, that's, Bristol Pond Estates.
Yes, thank you. But right at the bottom, those are two open space / conservation parcels, and I'm like, if they got the curbing, we'd have somewhere for
You
people to
mean
park.
between the entrance and the exit of Bristol Pond Estates in that,
Between the in and out, and also down
Yeah.
on this part here, so it's like, that would be nice. And another place, and I've never gone in from there, is over at the Loopers, where the parking is for there.
That's
Yeah.
on North Street.
And then they had a little sign, Lynn Farm this way. And then even on that road too, there's another sign pointing. So someone's doing nice signs for that I wasn't aware of, so.
So what you see on the screen here is exactly what comes up as a.
Oh, so they have it listed as
searching.
205 North.
Yeah, so this is, I believe it's just the pinpoint. Now, I probably have the ability to manipulate that now that it's officially been recognized
So
as
is
a
there-
property.
is
I may
that
be
the-
able to-
Is that dirt road that's there? Is that where you go down?
Well, I think that what we, and Janet will
No, I
know
don't know
better
where
than
we're
I
at.
do.
Help
So
me.
I'm zooming out so you can see, this is,
Oh, okay.
you know, this is kind of the bulk of the property, and then this is
Right.
the Rentham Dog Park. This is a landmark.
you've
The
gone
state
too far.
Hospital is over here.
Yeah.
I see. So that's where they fly the remote control.
The
airplane.
lazy,
Lazy
the little,
loopers.
yeah, the
Yeah.
planes.
I
So,
almost crashed in Mirror Lake when I was fishing one time.
it's a little far away from where it's supposed
Yeah,
to
so
be.
the
So
parking
technically,
lots.
the parking
yeah.
is here.
yep.
And that may be something where now that it's officially been
And they have a
recognized,
sign up
I
there
can-
too on North
Oh,
Street.
okay.
And point
Yeah.
it.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Steph, so you're gonna see move that little
Yeah.
push pin.
Yeah.
Push pin.
I don't know if they used to have the number address like back like a year ago or whatever. I think it was just listed as North Street, but
Yeah, I think as recently as today, or it says here 205 North. So
Okay.
if I have the ability to change it to a
Right here,
GPS
is that the
location
airport?
where it kind of like it's the parking area, you know. I know there are various other places where some of the
Yeah, where you
trails
see that
can
black
access
strip
in
up
from,
there?
Yeah.
but
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Marshall Street,
Park,
yeah.
Yep.
Yes.
But that's,
This is the way they fly.
Yeah, that's where they
Yeah.
fly, yeah.
So Lynn Farm goes from there over to Marshall.
Yeah,
Through
it's
the
pretty
woods.
big.
And if you're lost on the trails, you actually
that out,
end
it's
up
right near my
way
house.
over in Rentham over where the new police station or fire station or whatever is.
Shire
Hello.
Drive. Yeah.
Up on
Shire
Shire
Drive.
Drive, at the
Yep.
Mech, yeah, at the Mech by the water tower
Yep.
tank.
I'll have to check that out. It's right down the street from me.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are a lot of trails in there now.
But they're not marked when you're out
It's so
there.
easy to get lost in there. I was with my horse like a couple months ago and we got lost. We went like 7.5 miles and yeah.
At
Yeah,
least
no,
you're
it's-
on 4 legs, Janet.
Yeah.
It's not, no, but it's not funny, you know?
Oh, it's so easy to get lost in there. I got lost with my 4-H kids in there once, and like one of the dads was like so miserable. He was like, "Are we almost back?" And I'm like,
Thing is, if you keep walking, you're gonna come out to Pond Street, 1A, North
Yeah,
Street.
yeah.
You're gonna come to a road, but,
Unless you go in a circle.
yeah, unless you keep going in a circle.
"Oh, but it's so
Then you
easy
got a
to do
problem.
in there because there's like so many like loops on loops
Yes,
in there.
yep.
So it's
And
I've
then
never
you
been
hit
in
no
there, but I'm sure
trespassing
it's-
signs
it's really
and,
easy to do.
Yeah.
no, it's not.
That could be our next Boy Scout project.
Yeah, map it out.
Map it out and
Well, next time
trail
just bring your
marker.
cell phone and you can ping the location
Well,
that
that
Stephanie.
David and I had talked about, and Jan and I have discussed it as well. It's a really solid Boy Scout project would be maybe doing some GPS mapping of the trails that we have. So I think, you know, knowing that this is a good ball rolling, maybe we continue that trend.
But if I can bring up a point, none of us have these wonderful phones where we can just have the stupid phone tell us where we're going. So when these trees have red and white dots all over them, there's no trail names. They don't arrow you to wherever you're going. It's,
Yeah.
It's a little bit of work. You'd have to get out there, but.
yeah, 'cause you can look, like Altra has, listed trails, and then, if you can map,
On all trails.
yeah.
All Trails doesn't even have them all listed because I was using All Trails to try
Yeah.
to navigate, and it didn't have everything that was there.
And I mentioned, I think Janet is aware of this too, that the last time the mapping was actually done, 2005, and a lot of the trails that are on the map are like just
Overgrown.
off the cuff, like trails that have been created not necessarily by the commission or
Yeah.
scouts or
Like it's by dirt bikers or stuff like
exactly. So you can see, I'm sorry, this is,
Oh, that's why I got lost.
that. Yep.
but if you
my
had, like,
God.
we have documentation that shows like, it's, you know, it was like one loop here, and one loop here. So all of this is
Newbies.
new. There are no official trail names. I don't know if, you know,
Oh,
between
wow.
All Trails and NEMBA, I don't know if they're naming them themselves. So that may be something that the commission should maybe look at, but that's up to you guys. Because, you know, if we do send Boy Scouts, obviously this is a multiple man job, or female. But if we send people out, this is not a single person
Could this be,
undertaking.
maybe even a college project for,
Yeah.
like UMass, or someone
Yeah.
UNH, UMass?
Even if there
the-
was
in
like
the
a you are
agricultural
here,
Yeah.
for-
so you at least
for
know
a
where in
project.
this
Yeah.
jungle you're at, you know,
Because you'd have to digitalize all those maps and put different color markers for each trail, so if you're in the middle of that and you come across green, purple, red,
Yeah,
you
you'd
know
have to
you're on the
figure-
right trail. Otherwise, even if you just put up flags, there's no way you'd ever get out of there.
No.
You'd be,
Right.
that
You have
looks
to have
like
a
one of the
GPS.
little drawings, you're trying to find your way.
They got good
Maze.
GPSs now that follow your walking path, so that it shows exactly that on the GPS screen when you
Yeah.
walk out there. So,
Well, I think the new police station cut through some of those trails.
Yeah.
That are listed on All Trails, so
It
that's
might
kind
have.
of like where I got lost, was because like they kind of cut into the trail and it was disturbed, so,
so the end of Shire is a lot of building going on out there. They just cleared a lot of land for, I don't know what's going in there, but
Yeah, I believe that's the Rentham side of Shire, so.
right, because that was the very, very, thank you so much person, one of the workers out there, because that's why I said, Kelly would, and then he said, but he actually, no, but
Yep.
the Rentham side, but he
Yeah.
actually brought me back to my car. No, he was awesome, and he said, no, you count as my good deed for the day, and I'm like, gosh, jeez,
yeah, there's a lot of woods out there.
jeez. Okay,
Anybody have anything else?
Um,
Before we adjourn?
How are we doing on the water chestnuts and with, I know we talked, we had the people come in for Highland, Mirror Lake with local treatment and that. Are we going to something in?
What we can do is.
on the bottom of the
since
notes, did you
yeah.
see that?
David's not here. I think maybe I could talk to Blythe about of the town. Maybe she should get her opinion on how we should go forward as budgeting permanently
Right.
and not a reactionary
Yeah.
based on how fast the stuff grows.
But I think it doesn't have to go in front of town meeting as well.
Correct. So what my vision would be, the person that we hire would come and say, you have 10 bodies of water. This is where the status of each one is, to get them up to a point where annually, each body of water will then finally, after 4 years, would then just need chemical treatment and not this, wait till it's 80% clogged.
Yeah.
And then we have to do this massive pull-out and treatment, so.
Yeah.
And then we'd need to leave monies in case, certain areas that are, hard for the harvester to get into, that they have to pull up by hand. and the fact these things last 7 or 8 years.
Because I know we got
ponds.
Highland Lake, they did already, and I
Yeah.
know the Rentham side of Mirror Lake has been done, and it looks, I go by there every
Looks
day,
Much better.
and
Right.
even the Norfolk side looks
Way
good.
better, yeah,
See-
unbelievable.
The problem is, the longer we wait, the more organic matter that's filling the bottom of the
Yeah,
ponds.
the worse it's
And
gonna
it
get.
makes them shallower and shallower and shallower, and is just, will kill a pond.
Yeah.
Just the added vegetation
Yes.
that's falling in. So, I'll email Blythe this week and maybe set up a time to talk to her about exactly what, I think our vision should be, is to come up, I mean, it should be the same as we look at our roads. All right, we can fill the potholes so many times before we need to repave it. Or once we repave it, how are we maintaining it? And we can't just have a knee-jerk reaction where, oh, it's filled with water lilies and chestnuts, so we're gonna pull them all off, and then we don't do anything
Right,
for
for
7 or 8
years, yeah.
years, and then we're back to a major expense again.
Right.
Where we could have a minimal expense and actually the body of water, because we wait till it fills up again, all that organic matter is just filling into the pond. So, I'll get with her. I mean, there's only a handful of companies that actually do it, and I think the best thing would have the onus on them.
Yeah.
Come to us with a plan and a price for maintenance of our waterways.
And I think Rentham has already done that with Mirror, so maybe we can get on board with Rentham, whoever's in charge of that, and see if they come in and give us a presentation or explain.
I think so. Reaching out to the couple of companies saying, this is what we want. Come to us with your professional opinion of what you think we should do.
Right, and the warrant is open.
What's that?
The warrant is open.
Yeah, so, yeah, she
special
could then
meeting
come,
is
yeah, we'd have-
November, And,
then get a warrant to
get on town.
get on,
I mean,
once
we would
we
have
found
to
out,
turn it around pretty quickly because
Yes.
it closes September 1st.
Yeah.
yeah,
So you'd need a quote and all of that kind of ready to go and proposed
by September 1st,
by September 1st.
yeah,
It's gonna be
that won't
tough.
happen.
That's not, we'll have
Yeah.
to wait till spring.
Yeah,
But,
we,
No,
you know
but
what,
they-
we can start now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. if
And
we
then
start now.
by next September, I think would be reasonable to come up with a plan by September of
Or you
Well, they
could
also
make
have spring
town
meeting as
meeting.
well.
2022, so come up
what's
with
that?
a full plan of what, that will give us some time as an applicant makes, all the bodies of water, looks at them, comes up with a plan, comes to us and says, this is what we want to do. And then it will also give the residents who are concerned a voice to say, why are you chemically treating it? Why aren't you just harvesting? And then we'll have a little bit more transparency, and I think we'll have a better success of it passing a warrant issue if we,
I just think, if I'm not mistaken, I think Rentham came to us and wanted to see if we could get on board as early as possible so they could start treating our side as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
And they were willing to do it. We just have to go through the proper channels to get
Yeah.
approval on it. So I know we want to do others, but if we can at least get that maybe on the spring town meeting to get approved, and then we can go forward with the rest of them for the fall. But I don't know where we're at, what we got to do, what steps we got to make.
yeah, that's why I think it's best to let probably the town manager and the select board, kind of roll with what they feel, because we're gonna need their backing in order for this to go forward.
Right,
We can do whatever we want, but
yeah.
if we don't have,
They control the purse
and
strings.
I think the main sell for this is, it's gonna be cheaper in the long run by a lot if we mean it, as opposed to these knee-jerk, expensive harvesting moves that we've had
Most
to do.
definitely, most definitely.
Those are expensive.
Because Camsure right now, the pond across from Camsure is just, I went down there the other day and it's just taken over by everything.
Well, the bridge and the roadway we did a couple of years ago, what street is that on? Oh, Man property.
Oh,
Yeah?
yeah, the Lawrence Street, the causeway.
Oh, it's clogged
Yeah,
both sides now.
yes,
And it
yes.
didn't take,
No, it doesn't.
I drove by and I was amazed at how quickly
And I don't even know if that's water chestnut, that's
lilies or.
lily pads and the lilies and,
Right.
you got the swamp there and it's just getting
Right.
right up.
So that, So I'll talk to her and see what she feels we might be able to do, or what the long course is, and then we could start adding it to, if we've got a year, we could start adding it to our monthly agenda, so that, it'll give some people like that to come in and, say a piece of what she's seen, educate all of us on, and she was here for a part, we've had these other projects of, how quick grows and what it does to.
I wonder what the Audubon's doing. I mean, their pond be doing something, I would think.
I think they maintain it.
Yeah.
They
So-
had filed, they had an order of conditions from us for treating
Yeah,
the DCR,
Yeah.
property there.
because that's a good-sized pond they have out there as well.
Yep.
But
So, all right,
All right.
I'll
Yep.
talk to Blythe about that over the next week. So, I guess that concludes our meeting, and entertain a motion to adjourn.
Alex Whiteside, so moved.
Second?
Milestone, I second.
Oh, Val, good for you.
Jim, take a vote. Jim Wilson, aye.
Al Finney, aye.
Alex Whiteside, aye.
Milestone, aye.
We're done.
All right, thanks.
Alex, thank you